My name is Allison Doverspike, and I'm a freshman biology pre-medicine student with the LECOM 4-4 affiliate program from Gannon University. Today in this presentation, I'm going to discuss how Brazil's soy moratorium is preventing some deforestation in the Amazon. So, as the largest country in South America, about 60% of the Amazon rainforest falls within the nation of Brazil. Unfortunately, due to the unsavory land clearing practices associated with its cattle and soybean industries, Brazil has deforested massive tracts of land over the last several decades. In a study by H.K. Gibbs, it was reported that 1 million hectares, or about 10,000 square kilometers of land, were cleared for farming between 2001 and 2006 alone, as soybean production and exportation thrived. And however, despite the very recent and modern setbacks under President Bolsonaro, Brazil has overall greatly decreased its rate of deforestation since establishing the soy moratorium in 2006. If you consider total land area, the Amazon rainforest is approximately the size of the continental United States. It accounts for over 1/2 of the world's remaining rainforest. National Geographic reports that as rainforests are such a great source of biodiversity, the Amazon is home to an astonishing 10% of the planet's known species. In fact, many of these animals are only found within the Amazon itself. In general, the local effects of deforestation are devastating. Soil erosion, flooding, fires, and the destruction of wildlife habitats and indigenous peoples' homes are all great possibilities. However, the consequences of forest clearing can have a great global impact as well. This leads to increased greenhouse gas emissions and the loss of water in the atmosphere. So in general, forests act as massive carbon sinks. They absorb CO2 from the atmosphere. According to an article from National Geographic, the Amazon absorbs 1/4 of the Earth's carbon dioxide emissions. Nonetheless, today, the Amazon absorbs 30% less carbon dioxide per year than it did during the 1990s. Therefore, clearing the Amazon increases the rate of climate change since more CO2 is able to enter the atmosphere. So in Brazil, soybean farming is considered a highly profitable and common industry. A Greenpeace study reports that over 90% of the world's soybeans are used to make animal feed. Therefore, as global populations rise, the demand for meat and therefore soy grows. In addition to the very clear connection between Brazil's soy industry and deforestation, soy has also been shown to have connections to negative practices like water pollution, slave labor, and illegal sawmills in an editorial from the Solutions Journal. So, eventually, as public concern started to turn more towards environmental issues in the early 2000s, several non-governmental organizations like Greenpeace, Friends of the Earth, and the World Wildlife Fund seized the opportunity to highlight the deforestation in Brazil. Tensions mounted eventually in 2006 when Greenpeace released the video Eating Up the Amazon. This report was wildly successful and ended up exposing the Brazilian soy industry for its environmentally damaging practices. Soon, global demand for soy grew, and so did the cessation of forest clearing in the Amazon. In response to this call for action, Brazil strengthened the enforcement of its existing conservation laws. However, this was ineffective against the great scale of the problem. After this, some of Brazil's largest soy associations, like the Brazilian Association of Vegetable Oil Industries and the National Association of Cereal Exporters, banded together to form the soy moratorium on June 24, 2006. Essentially, the soy moratorium basically prohibited processors, exporters, and animal feed producers from purchasing soybeans farmed on land deforested after the law's instatement. Without a market to buy their illegally sourced crop, the Brazilian soy farmers were forced to halt deforestation practices. So, the soy moratorium was meant to stop the expansion of farmland into forested areas without impeding soy production or the industry's expansion. And the soy industry has continued to grow since the soy moratorium, and this can be seen in the chart of Brazil's soybean production. In fact, according to a statistic from Greenpeace, while the area of soy farmland in Brazil has grown by 206% since 2006, only about 1% of this land has been obtained through deforestation. The soy moratorium has been incredibly successful. In an article in Science, H.K. Gibbs reports that Brazil's rate of Amazon clearance has decreased by approximately 2/3 since the decade between 1995 and 2005. These statistics are further supported by the chart Deforestation in the Brazilian Amazon, and here you can see a clear reduction of the total amount of square kilometers cleared per year between 1988 and 2019 after around 2006. Since the soy moratorium has not impacted the profitability of this nation's soy farming, the Brazilian government has not failed to renew the soy moratorium since its inception. The moratorium is essentially seen as a step towards environmental sustainability. It proves that green solutions do exist. Therefore, other large-scale sustainable farming initiatives should be encouraged by its triumph over deforestation and environmental damage. And while Brazil's fight against deforestation is far from over under President Bolsonaro, we cannot forget the great strides they have made throughout most of the last 2 decades. Brazil recognized the need to take action and actively work to defeat climate change and reduce humanity's environmental impact. Still, all nations need to band together in order to create a more sustainable future for all people. Our actions and decisions today directly decide the reality of tomorrow. Thank you for listening.